prime time on the top game, it's a fine line. Man in the match, that's David, he's the main guy, keep a close eye. Make sure you don't make no wrong play, cause I'm with Jose and Andre. And when Cyrus comes to walk in, you better know that you are watching Premier League. David, tell what time we on, prime time. Let me hear you say Premier League. David, tell what time we on, prime time.
Hello and welcome to Premier League Primetime, and here we are here, episode 2 of the Dave I and Mo Show. We're back again as club football will soon return from the international break. I know Mo cannot wait for international break to return. I'm more than happy for the break to go on a little longer. But Mo, how's your day been? All good, my guy?
Yes, sir. A bunch of City players today getting back into form right before the Derby, so I'm excited for club football to be back, man.
Oh,
Of course.
yeah, I'm so excited. I really am so excited. But you know what? Yeah. On the Manchester Derby, yeah, and we won't go too much into detail on it. Which for the viewers, there will be a Dave I Show later on this week, serving as a preview, and then it'll be the first watch along of the season, and it will be a Dave IMO edition of a watch along. So yeah, you lot in the views, yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I mean, you know what? This could be the most typical Man United thing ever. I could definitely see us just somehow doing a typical Man United and scammering our way to a 2-1 win. I could see, I don't know, I could see a Bruno, I could see a Bruno masterclass. Where would we be without Bruno? I could easily see one of those happening. But then on the other hand, I could also see us getting absolutely smoked. But then again, Pep somehow has done what I thought would be impossible, aka not getting 3 points against the Gucci Graham Potter's Man United, which it's definitely a bit of a surprise. But just what are your brief, very general thoughts on that? Are you confident you'll win?
Oh, absolutely. Shoot, it's a home game. Manchester Derby, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We did lose to you guys last season there, but then again, we were in pretty bad form during that month, during the season. But yeah, man, I'm fully confident though that we can grab a win this Sunday. And then, just climb our way back on top to the top three. So
Wait, if you man win, are you lads back in what, third?
I believe so, yes.
Nice. And if we win, you know what that means? We'll actually achieve, for the first time in months, back-to-back Premier League wins. The
I
search
know,
and the
it's been a
hunt
minute.
for the back-to-back Premier League wins. I mean, look, the end of the last week of club football went very well. Getting another lovely experience with the top Reds after a wonderful, dominant, convincing performance against Burnley. A couple more Bruno merchants and Bruno stands making the ways into my DMs. Yes, this is how weird these flipping law are. Let's throw it on. And it's not, not all these top Reds, but yeah, especially these top Reds have to find their way into my DM and give man abuse, because I don't rate their captain. I don't rate that snuggle tooth MF or man's feet. Man like Pingu. This guy's feet are like flipping 2:45, bro. This flipping Bruno guy. But you know what? It could be the most Man United performance ever on the positive side, and definitely on the negative side. It could be one of both. I mean, maybe the fossil football that we play, because Pep just still doesn't know how to deal with it. I mean, hey, we're probably gonna put let alone 5 in front of the ball, if we're gonna count. If we're also counting our goalkeeper, make that what probably eight behind the ball. 8 behind the ball. But I mean, look, should be an exciting game either way. Hoping for a win. Not only just have back-to-back wins, but it will at least give me a week where I can be shameless for 4. My team will probably get torn apart by Chelsea, and my mental health will go into the deep negatives. With if so help me, if my worst fears come true, if Skeletor turns into CR7 regen and dunks on my head top at Old Trafford, yeah, I can't in the words of Jose Mourinho, if I speak, I'll be in big trouble. But Donnarumma in the door.
Yes, sir.
Gianluigi Donnarumma. Any thoughts on that?
Call me crazy. He just, he just joined the team, but I feel as though he could start for the derby this Sunday. And given how he performs in training, 'cause, usually the team we kind of record it live.
Mm.
As us fans can usually see it, but the live training sessions and all that. But I feel as though we could genuinely start him this Sunday over Trafford. Because that would seem like a pep type of thing to do, given how big of a name Donnarumma is in the world of football. Um, but I'm really excited to obviously have him on the club because especially we haven't had a shot stopper since pretty much Joe Hart, I would say. Yeah, I
It's
mean,
so weird though because
yeah,
we know this guy can't play with the ball at his feet, so it's gonna be very interesting to see.
he's okay with his feet. He's not terrible like people would say, but I mean he's definitely okay. He's definitely improving a lot. Um, But I'm definitely excited to have him on our squad because we do need a
Mm-hmm.
shot stopper like him on UCL nights,
Mm-hmm.
and that's gonna help us tremendously. So, yeah, really excited to see what he offers for us.
No, definitely. But you know what? I also, don't be surprised if Trafford starts as well.
I'd
Don't
be
be
fine with
surprised.
either one. I'd be fine with either one too, because Trafford's also as well improving a lot. He's showing a lot of promising uh plays that he made against Wolves, Tottenham a little bit of a shaky performance, if not for all of us on the team. And then, against Brian, he saved us a couple of times, which the game could have ended, maybe 3-1, 4-1, because we played terribly. But yeah, Trafford or Donnarumma, either way, I'll be okay with it because, I trust both of them to, go out there and make those things that we need to and progress the ball from the back. So, for sure.
Yeah, fair. And I mean, I'd also assume that you'd have the same trust in Mateus Nunes at right back.
Yeah. I mean, he's our best right back we have currently. But reports have
Really?
been, yeah, Rico
Would
Lewis
you
is not a
prefer him
right back.
to Rico Lewis?
Rico Lewis is not a right back. He's a midfielder at heart. His physicality just doesn't match up to play in that position. He's a bit too small is a way of saying it against those big physical wingers that he usually goes up against. And and honestly, it makes sense for us to go for a right back in January because, well, whenever he plays that right back, Rico Lewis, he's not exactly the best when it comes to, keeping possession and actually, retrieving back those balls against the wingers and ground duels or even aerial duels as well. He's not the tallest either, which, kind of puts him really in a bad spot. So, yeah, and, as I said with, him playing as a midfielder, he is just tremendously better playing as a midfield, as what's called as a natural eight. It can either be a double pivot or it can be, more like advancing. He's much better there. Which much rather see Messi Nunes at right back or Rico Lewis for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, first, I mean, look, I know of a right back that will definitely be made available at least by me in January. He's Portuguese. He's in Manchester. He wants to travel far, and he's super passionate. He's super passionate. And any interest? Maybe,
No, I'm
maybe.
gonna have to
No, you sure?
respectfully decline. Gonna have to respectfully decline that
You
because
sure?
our eyes are on Livermento currently,
Yeah,
which
I
I
can
definitely do see us
actually have
swooping them
fair.
up in January. So
Not fair. I mean, seeing how Newcastle got bullied and put in their place this summer. I can't lie. You can get at them.
Yep.
Speaking of goalkeepers, my football club's done me a world of wonders in bringing me some amazing news. This past weekend, beginning of this week, Andre Onana on Thursday, I think, is going to travel to Turkey and
Yes.
undergo his medical for the team I can't seem to pronounce trans somethings for, which any of our Turkish watchers, forgive me for that one. If anyone of you know how to pronounce it, definitely feel free to tell me. But it's a straight loan. Although I'm not going to be too pushy. In the sense that, seeing the players I wanted gone. If there is one thing that this Gucci Graham Potter has done, and which is why that when I look at just what they've done as a whole, for me, he still ranks above that bold fucking swagless forward. And you want to know why? Because he's getting rid of all the players and all the mess that he caused in the first place. He's gotten rid of that awful, heinous reign of terror that started week in and week out on my club's attack. He's gotten rid of them, binned them off. Who else has he been? And he's been Anthony, which, if he was a squad player, I'd be fine with it. But, I wanted to sell anyways. He's binned him off. Sancho's gone. Who else is gone? Lindelof, Eriksson left on free. Johnny Evans left on a free. And now the latest to go, man like Gerald Arnold. No more Francis Ngannou with that flipping high top. I don't have to see that flipping high top in my goal anymore because I can't last. When I think about any goalkeepers, right? I think Schmeichel, Van der Sar, De Gea, and even just in recent years, you got what 2014 Neuer, 20s whenever Petr Cech, prime Gianluigi Buffon. These are goalkeepers, and even Donnarumma. These are goalkeepers that strike fear into the hearts of the attackers. Andre Onana is probably one of the few goalkeepers, not just the worst that I've ever seen, with my own eyes, and look, I saw and watched Taibbi, I saw Roy Carroll, I saw Tim Howard, some pretty awful goalkeepers. Lindegaard was not great. Flipping Bayindir. Onana's the worst of all of them. He's actually the worst of all of them. Because I've never seen someone with so much chat and just literally dies every single time he's on that pitch. Anytime a set piece is swung into our box, man's literally biting on my flipping fingernails because I'm literally petrified. And you could see, even in that Grimsby game, they're deliberately targeting our back post. They're trying to score off corners. They're trying to score.
Because they know you'll concede.
This I mean, it's not even just flipping Onana as well. I mean, we're rubbish on set pieces anyways. But yeah, he is, the goalkeeper that for me, I've never seen a goalkeeper like him strike fear, not into the hearts of the attackers, but into the hearts of his own manager, into his own fan base, and to his own defenders and backline. I've never seen it in my life. Countless times we'll see a player who's facing towards our own goal, and you think, oh, play back to the goalkeeper, right? I've seen them try and take 2-3 touches and end up just playing it out. Or just clearing it out because they don't trust that goalkeeper. They don't trust him. To a certain extent, it's like, all right, play it back to him, but I can't blame them for not trusting him, man. But yeah, now for the sake of my own mental health, it's good to see him gone. Although the one thing I will say, I won't be too picky. I would have loved to see like an option to buy, but you know what? The fact how he even got rid of him, and he's actually gotten a pay rise from this club. This club have chosen to increase his salary, and they're paying 100% of his wages, which is brilliant. I just wish there was an obligation to buy, but it is what it is. the fact how he even got rid of him is amazing enough. But in comes San Lamons. Look, for me, I mean, it's definitely yet to be seen as to whether, he will be an improvement. But to be an improvement, the standard's pretty low. Which is literally, don't be as bad or worse than Onana, and you'll be fine. But then again, I thought it was impossible for this manager to be worse than the last one, and it somehow came true. So which is why I'm going to say, it's impossible that it will get worse. No, I'm not ruling that out. I'm not ruling that out. Because of this manager, I'm not. But the standard's pretty low. Do I think he's going to be one of the best in the world? I don't know. I've not seen him, but I would think not. And everyone's saying, but you see the way he plays, it's just like Courtois. He's Courtois regen, De Gea regen. But you've seen this a million times with these top reds, with these social media flipping Gen Alpha mutants. We see it all the time. We see it all the time in 1,000,001 cases. So I'm just ignoring it. But you know what? If I'm the manager, I'd throw him straight in. But I have a very strong feeling that he's probably going to play Binder in goal. But, I mean, look, the standard's pretty low. For me, as long as you don't do, as long as you are at least a more competent shot stopper and at least more competent in every single facet of goalkeeping than our current two goalkeepers are, big improvement. But what are your thoughts on Sunderland's?
I haven't really watched him play before you guys were linked to him. But as I was saying, Fabrizio, updating like on like personal terms being agreed and just like the former contracts like beginning and how talks were advancing, I was like, let me go watch some highlights of this guy real quick. And you probably wouldn't believe this, but he was showing shades of Inter Onana, not United Onana, but Inter Onana, where he was actually great before he came to United, and I was like, okay, this guy might be the real deal, and and I believe the price tag was
50
trying
flipping million we spent on this guy.
50 mil on this keeper. I was like, okay, maybe this might be
Because
like a
De Gea
reach.
left, we needed a replacement. But now,
Yeah,
here's the thing. I will wholeheartedly agree that Onana is much worse than even declining David De Gea. However, everyone's now trying to do this revisionism, like, we shouldn't let De Gea leave. Yeah, we should have.
yeah.
The reason why you guys won the FA Cup final, yeah. Let's not pretend like all that didn't happen, right? Let's not forget why you got your goals or scored your goals in that FA Cup final, especially that second goal. Let's not just
Well,
pretend.
that first one really wasn't on him though. That first one was just like a pinpoint volley by Gundogan.
No, not really the first one, but the second one.
Yeah, second one for sure. Yeah, that was definitely savable.
And it was right to get rid of him. However, you could have done it a lot more respectfully. You could have done it with a lot more class, and he deserved a much better send-off than that bold Ford gave him. But yeah, to add further insult to his legacy, yes, he won one Premier League title, but for me, he's not, a Man legend for me is, Champions League, multiple Premier League title winners. And like for me, De Gea, he's like just beneath that. Just beneath that. But for those who call him a Man United legend, I don't see a problem with it, especially for what he done, all the great things that he done during the years where De Gea became the De Gea we all know at his very best with the defense he had in front of him. So, and we added insult to his legacy by bringing in this flipping Gerald from Hey Arnold in goal, who's supposed to be the guy to play out the back. I was seeing things from him that I would expect from De Gea.
Mhm.
I should have known in that third. I don't know if you probably didn't watch it, but maybe you had seen clips of it. But do you remember it was a preseason match before Ten Hag season 2? We played Lens at home. Remember that goal where that one Lens player just lobbed Onana from the flipping halfway line, and you just see him just rushing back and just crashing into his own net. Do you know what I'm
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah. I seen that.
I
Yeah,
should have known. I
yeah.
should have known from then. I should have known from then. But it is what it is. I hope the best for this kid. I really, really do. And I hope he does well. But I just hope his flipping manager doesn't, feed him to the wolves. But knowing him, he probably will. Some interesting news that did come about today. Who would have suspected Nuno Espirito Santo sacked by Nottingham Forest? And for me, I was surprised how it didn't happen sooner. Not in the sense that he's done poorly. The start of the season's been all right. It hasn't been terrible, but it's been all right. Going into the Europa League and all that. But after this, I should have known. Or I kind of did know. After that, what was it? Against Leicester, they dropped points and they missed out on those Champions League places. When flipping man like Mafia Marinakis, bro. I swear down with this guy, man. Man like Marinakis, bro. Came onto the pitch just to bat up Nuno. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And especially how they've been moving in the flipping in the market. The whole thing with Gibbs White. I mean, I understand you want to, that's your best player and you're trying to protect your best player. But, again, just really shady stuff. Crystal Palace winning the FA Cup. And then, for me, I definitely think he has something to do with, snitching and telling them behind their backs or something like that. And Nottingham Forest getting their rightfully deserved Europa League place. I felt sorry for Crystal Palace, man, because they definitely did deserve it. They won the FA Cup fair and square, so they should get the that Europa League spot. But yeah, this on man. But what do you make of Nuno's sacking though? Firstly,
I didn't really like that, because especially for a guy who, pretty much brought a squad that didn't really have much depth up to like Champions League spots until, after at the end they started crashing out, of course. But,
mm-hmm,
it's like, yo, like I mean, this guy was very promising. I mean,
mm-hmm,
he was battling out with the top six and actually delivering performances, and then you kick him out because what? He lost a Europa League spot at the last second. I mean, to be fair, you didn't exactly go ahead and help him out when it came to, buying the right players in the transfer market, nor were you really active in the transfer market in the first place. So, what can you really blame him to do? I mean, he tried his best. He gave his all. I mean, there's really no denying that. And then out of nowhere, post Nolu replaced him. I was like, wow, wow. Like after being sacked from Spurs and then going and become the manager of Nottingham Forest, like
mm.
it's a bit surprising to me, but bad move by Forest though. Really bad move. They definitely should have kept him. He was definitely the right manager for the team, and all they really needed to do was become more active in the transfer market, and then I guarantee they would have got right back where they left off from last season, delivering big performances against big teams.
No, yeah, and it definitely was shocking. Obviously, when I first saw it, it definitely felt a bit surprising, but I thought they would have, just at least put things behind them. And, for me, people could say, oh, it was the loss against West Ham. For me, this was going down the drain well before, but I think they lost 3-0 at home to flipping
Yep.
Graham Potter's West Ham. And Usman's favorite ever Chelsea manager. Word to Usman on that one. Losing to 3-0 to that awful West Ham team and getting played off the park the way they did. I think that was just, probably the cherry on top of the cake.
Yep.
That made Marinakis, which I thought would have happened a lot earlier, but what was flipping only yesterday. Kind of mad. But yeah, in steps Ange Postecoglou, who I like Ange Postecoglou. I like his footballing morals, his footballing ethics, his footballing intangibles. Always wanting to attack, always wanting to play, attractive, attacking on the front foot football. But yeah, we all know him and his hard line for life, and we saw where that finished in 17th. But yeah, we all saw that won them last season, which I'm mentally still having a difficult time moving on. It's still very traumatic. But But hey, he won them a Europa League. Sacked from Tottenham a few days after finishing 17th in the league, and now has landed this Nottingham Forest job, which, even before he even got the job at the start of the season, I was predicting that, he would definitely be in the running. If Nuno was to go, he'd be in the running due to that relationship that
Yep.
and Marinakis have. And Ange needs players that play or that can play a solid football. Because if not, I think it's going to go crashing down. And the way that a lot of these players at the club are, and the kind of footballers that they are, I don't think that they are going to be very well suited to playing Ange ball. But I don't know. Mo, what do you think, my bro?
I don't, like I said before, they made a really bad mistake letting go of Nuno, but seeing Ange as the manager of Forest, I don't really see that working exactly well because Forest and Spurs are two completely different teams. When Ange was the manager at
Mhm.
Spurs, and it's just like I don't really see him fitting well because like the playing style, like the way I know he's going to try to implement when he was at Tottenham, it just won't work well with guys like Hudson-Odoi. It won't
Mhm.
work well with players like Gibbs White. It won't work well with players like
I
Ola
think it might
Aina.
work with Gibbs, right? It might because Ange also likes high energy. He
He
loves high
does.
energy play
He does.
and high pressing, aggressive pressing. And if there's one thing Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi can do, it's definitely press very high up the pitch, which I definitely know that they can do that.
Yep.
But however, also being technically competent enough is a big part of Ange's whole philosophy and all that. But who do you think could be some of the winners and some of the losers from this?
Losers, definitely Forest because I'm gonna stay on it. Like
Mhm.
again,
Meaning,
Nuno.
regards to some of the players, in regards to like the players that are in the squad. Sorry, I should have.
The players, you really can't tell until like you see like the first game of them playing under Ange. So it's not really too fair to like judge now.
Well,
But
knowing what Ange is what I'm saying. Like just
yeah,
predictions. Make some predictions. Make some guesses. Who do you think could be some winners? Who do you think could be some losers from this? Based on knowing that the profile of players at Nottingham Forest, obviously each player being a bit different, and knowing the kind of manager that Ange is and the kind of footballers that suit him is what I meant. I should have clarified that.
no, it's all good. I definitely agree with what you said earlier. I think Gibbs White is definitely gonna be a winner here. Because as you said, when Ange was at Tottenham, he was all about energy, and that was James Madison for him. Including Kulusevski as well. So I think, and Gibbs White is very versatile. The guy can play as an eight. He can play as as a box to box. He can also play as a 10 as well, and to progress into attack. That's why I think he's going to become a winner. Another player I think is going to be another winner is Olo Aina. Um, because where Ange was playing, when Ange was the manager,
Mm.
he did have Spence and they had Petro Porro, kind of overlapping the wingers a little bit, kind of like advancing forward towards the final third. And Ola Aina did exactly that at Forest under Nuno. Um, and for losers, I will have to admit, I don't think Hudson-Odoi is exactly the striker profile that like kind of fits Orange a little bit because he's not exactly like a guy like Haaland where like he makes run in between like behind the defenders. He's more so like he builds from like the back and then you're kind of like supports play a little bit. So I definitely do think Hudson-Odoi is a loser here. Um, Another loser, I will have to go with Chris Wood.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. That's what I was
yeah,
thinking because I feel like he's definitely surprisingly mobile,
yeah,
at age and all that. But for the amount of energy, like the amount of high pressing and energy that Ange demands from his players,
yeah.
I
Chris Wood
I
is
just
just not
don't
the type
think
of striker for that.
definitely more of a you know uh, I won't necessarily call him Fox in the box because he can create for himself, and we've seen it. He can score goals from outside the 18. He can score headers. He can score a catalog of goals. He's not just your simple tapping merchant in it. But I don't think Chris Wood is. I think Chris Wood might be one of the losers here.
Yep,
I
definitely
mean,
agree.
who else? Who else I feel like will be one of the losers in it? Can I just say the entirety of that defense?
No, 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 no. I feel
Can
like
I?
no, no, no.
If
I
they
feel
don't
like
have the
Olana is
energy
gonna.
to
It's a winner here.
play that hard line for life, because we saw the amount of goals that Tottenham conceded last year,
Yeah.
and and who I think will be a big loser from this is Matt Sells. And
Yes.
yeah, at that point,
Forgot
and
to mention him.
also screws me over in fantasy completely because I had Matt Sells in goal because the way Nottingham Forest playing that low block, they're now going to go the complete 180 of that. Assuming that Ange is going to stick to his principles, which it will be almost inevitable that Nottingham Forest will definitely concede goals, probably more games than none. So. Oh God, yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to find a new goalkeeper before the start of the on match day format. But I think he might be a big loser here, Matt Sells. But you know what? I think Nottingham Forest have a good enough core. Especially when you look at that goalkeeper. He's still a very good goalkeeper, by the way. And that partnership with Milenkovic and Murillo,
Yeah.
very good. Very good, very solid at the back. They have a good spine. Who else? I think. I mean, he's been having such a great season so far. Elliot Anderson, I think, could be a big winner because the profile of player that he is, very mobile, high energy. Also not technically superb, but technically competent. I'd probably say slightly above average. But also versatile. He's been thrown out on the left. He can play in that number 10 role. If Gibbs White is out and they just need someone to fill the void, he could play in a 2. He can play in a pivot. He can play in a midfield 3. Elliot Anderson is going to be a massive winner, and I think that he is going to blossom under Ange Postecoglou. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think he's going to be a massive winner here. What do you think? And what do you think about Elliot Anderson so far this season?
So far, so good. I watched them then and there. Apart from City games and apart from Liverpool games, it was like so two teams I've been closely paying attention to so far. But he's really looking promising. In line for a really like decent season. I would say he's gonna be a vital part of the team as well. And not really much else to say. I mean, he's definitely gonna be the guy to step up when they need him to, for sure.
I mean, it'll be, as you said, I mean, we'll really have to wait and see to give like any real judgment on Ange Postecoglou, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It will be
Yeah,
interesting
for
to
sure.
see. But moving on to what we all love. We love international football, ladies and gentlemen. We love international football. Aren't you so sad that international football's ending? Aren't you gutted?
Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. Just got bad news today that Marmoush picked up a knee injury.
Oh,
That he
how
is
long is
the
he out
only.
for?
It's not really been told yet, but he was walking on his own power though, so that's a good sign. That
Hmm.
means he won't be out for long. But people were spamming like ACL injury, ACL injury. Like no, it's not an ACL. If he was walking without any help, but you know we were doing so good up until the one player out of everybody got injured, and somehow John Stones didn't get injured, which or even though I know he did withdrew away, so that would make sense, but. Marmoush picking up that injury, it's really time for Doku to step up, man. I mean, like it's like enough is enough. Like, what I'm saying? Like you gotta go out there and just like please fix your end product, which we did see by the way. We did see by the way in Belgium's recent game. Um, Belgium's recent game, Doku did score twice, and I believe he also assisted as well. So But I really want to see that in the Prem. None of this like 15 dribbles and like just like to no result. Like none of this like you can get past three guys, but you can't, give that final pass to Haaland or, it doesn't matter who's at that 10 spot either. But, you know, this is the moment, like this is a moment, like perfect moment in disguise for Doku just like go out there and ball out. Because if you don't and Marmoush comes back, that spot is taken away from you already. So what I
Oh,
see apart from Marmoush, and my bad,
no, you're
what
good.
I see from Marmoush apart from Marmoush is that Pep made a mistake letting go of KDB. And keeping Gundogan instead. I mean, KDB is looking like, he's sort of getting back into where he was the 2023 season. Um, just going out there and just, giving those key passes into the final third and just, scoring and assisting as well. And, I miss him, man. I really do. I really wish we would just kept him here on like a minimum contract because he actually said he was okay with that, which we should have. But now we got to face this guy in the UCL, so that's not exactly in our favor too. But aside from that, the majority of our players they withdrew because injury. Even though they weren't really injured, we all know that. Um,
Mistake, man.
but so far so good. Holland just had Holland went insane today, and I get it, I get it. It's it's Moldova. It's not really much of a big opponent, but just
Mhm.
like
You have to
giving them
play
that,
who's in front of you at the end of the day, like,
yeah.
but we're really not going crazy about it.
Yeah, but just like just him getting that confidence boost right before the derby, that's all I ask for. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I just want him to go ahead and ball out this Sunday and get his 3 points, and that's all I want. So, I'm really excited for this game this Sunday, and especially what I've seen from international break. Rico Lewis also looked well as well. And guess where he played for England? At the midfield spot, not right back. And this is why I say he is so much more useful as a midfielder, playing as like a natural eight, rather than him playing at that right back spot. Because as we all know now, and we've seen it last season too, he's not a right back, and he can offer so much more at the midfield. So really excited for this game on Sunday for sure.
No, yeah, I mean, look, I mean, just well, for me, to be honest, I've not watched a single one of our games. I've not. I saw we beat the mighty Andorra 2-0. Not really much to take away. Apart from, of course, just when I think that there's like that there's nothing that there's probably very little likely chance that I'm gonna have to, have to be infested with the top reds. Nope, they always find a way. Marcus Rashford done like a couple of nutmegs, and all that, and there's like, oh, look at Rashford, he's cooking. I'm just like, here we go with this shit again. I saw what's his face, a man like Dolph Ziggler, Rasmus scored, top in, and you know what narrative's already started? Oh, the problem was Manchester United, just like they do with
Hmm.
every fucking player. The same with McTominay. Oh, McTominay, this is the worst bit of business for Man United. Firstly, he had a year left on his contract, so if we didn't sell him for like what, the 35 million that Napoli paid for him, we weren't going to get anything for him.
Yep.
Let's just make that very clear. And secondly, he's playing for a manager who literally suits him to a T in Antonio Conte. And thirdly, the pace is naturally going to be slower. So, and him being, of a bigger, more athletic, more, bigger physique, he's obviously going to, have more success, which, look, and the fact I was starting to hear already with Erasmus after a tap-in, like, can the media just once in their life not be so flippin' anti-United, just for once? And I more than anyone I feel like I am my own football club's biggest critic, but just for once, can this not be about, oh, Man United let themselves down again? It's Rasmus Højlund. I don't care if he wins a Champions League and leads him to a Champions League. I could not care. If he wins him to Champions League, that means that flipping that 45-50 million pounder euros buy option gets triggered automatically. The obligation gets triggered automatically. So hey, great for me. But just can we not do this already? Just come on, just for once. Apart from that, and was there anything else in the world of international football that was even remotely entertaining?
Nothing really other that was really interesting. Apart from, Norway battering Moldova today and England winning, but
Oh wow,
just
my
but
team not so good.
yeah, nothing was really truly interesting today. Besides just like players like we're just known to do their thing,
Mm-hmm.
scoring and assisting. But yeah, this international break wasn't really
Mm-hmm.
exactly too
It never really is. Let's be honest, it
yeah,
never really is. And it,
it
it
never really
never
is.
really is, remember. I'm starting to see these rumors that apparently Lionel Messi is not certain of playing the World Cup. Let me say this right now, and anyone can clip this and whatnot. And if I somehow get this wrong, that I will take the generational cooking that comes with it. Ladies and gentlemen, he's going to play in that World Cup.
Oh, I agree.
When
I
he
agree.
don't think for a minute, when he signed for Inter Miami, that wasn't in the MLS like commissioners, league's commissioners' mind. That wasn't in the Inter Miami ownership's mind. That wasn't in the league's board or CEOs or whatever it is or leadership teams' minds. That he would alone not only just attract more just people to wear the shirts and start following the sport more, but knowing the World Cup is in, yeah, when did he sign? Summer 2023, right? I
Yes.
think. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, in 3 years' time. And you're telling me he's not going to play in that World Cup? Believe me, he's playing in that World Cup. Him and CR7, they'll have one last World Cup. And
I'm telling you, as soon as he heard
they're
the news
going
of
to play.
CR7 playing, he wants to
If
play
Messi is
now.
fit, he will play.
Yeah. There's no reason not
Even if
to.
50% Lionel Messi is going to be going to that World Cup. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. He will be going. If he's someone doesn't go, I'll be stunned. But I think what was it? His last ever match for Argentina in Argentina, bagging a brace, being the Lionel
Yep.
Messi we all know and love, just the
Yep.
footballing genius as he always is. Man, just and you know what? I know everyone has their own they have their own stunts of where they who's their goat, Messi or CR7 or Garnacho, according to these swagless top reds. I mean, look for what I'd say. I think it might have been Rio Ferdinand or Sir Alex who said this. Just enjoy them while they're here. Their days are numbered. At the very best, maybe 3 years, and that's me being generous.
I
Maybe
would
three
say
years.
two, but
Yeah,
yeah,
probably two. Probably two. Maybe 1-2 years more.
stand up an
Two more,
error.
2 more years, and howbeit so. You know what? Just enjoy them. Enjoy them while they last. Enjoy them while they're here, man. It's, regardless of where you stand, what you think of them, X, Y, Z. Premier League primetime is not ESPN FC. We don't run agendas. Just because it's a trendy thing to have an agenda on one player, or against one player, not the other. It is what it is. So I'd say just enjoy them while they're here. But before we just get into this random general football chat, U.S. men's national team. You lot thought that you caught life, all you USMNT mutants. And you know what? Not all of our U.S. men's national team, viewers and subscribers are bad. It's not all of you. I'm gonna make that very clear. It's not all of you guys. A lot of you, guys, ladies, whatever it is, because I have to be extra careful, extra inclusive. But not all of you are bad. I'll make that very clear. But yeah, again, the USMNT mutants, again, who feel the need to go into my DMs and start DMing me random useless shit, who were telling me about, oh, we got Pochettino back. Oh, we got Pochettino at the wheel. And, if we play at the World Cup, we're going to destroy you. And I told you lot about what Pochettino is from day one. What did you lot do? Refuse to listen. You want to know why? Because of your fucking egos. And where is Pochettino taken to you now? And for the longest time, I've been getting so much abuse for saying that Greg Berhalter would be doing a better job and would be getting more out of these players and would make this group look more like a team. that Maurizio Pochettino is. Flipping, I don't even know. Like,
I mean, I'm telling you, man, people are hyping up this
they're
man.
rubbish, man. They're
I'm telling you,
absolute rubbish. But
they were
hyped again.
hyping up. They were hyping up Pochettino for being, oh yeah, this is definitely the guy that's gonna come save the USA men's team and bring them back to the to the Dempsey days. But I'm like,
Man,
man,
come on, man. I
listen.
told these guys what Pochettino meant, and all he is.
The squad that you have right now is not compatible to compete even with the European teams. I mean, you guys can get smacked every time,
Mm. But it's not even that, though. One thing I will say is, it's not even that. Because if you think about it, yeah, in that 2022 World Cup match against the Netherlands, yes, Louis van Gaal literally swallowed fucking Greg Berhalter's tactics and absolutely cooked him. He smoked him. But really, when you think about it, the USA were playing, they're dominant on the front foot, but Van Gaal being Van Gaal, sitting in that 3-5-2, and with the light years more experience that he's got, the US being naive as they were, unfortunately they fell into the trap and they lost to a side that was by far better than them. But no one could say that the US men's national team didn't play on the front foot that game, because they did. They definitely did. But guess what? They're naive and they caught on the counter. They got caught in transition, and Greg Berhalter was naive. However, at least you could say, the game that match ended 4-1, and you could say that when you watch the game, it wasn't really a competition. Yeah, they got smoked. But even walking away from the match, as a neutral, leaving that match, at the end of it, I was thinking to myself, you know what, as naive as they were, and as disappointing as it was, you know what, the U.S. men's national team could give themselves a pat on the back. They can give themselves a round of applause. That team looked more like a team, even with the whole Gio Reyna controversy and all that. Still, looks kind of like a team. Even before the World Cup, that Greg Berhalter had these like what they called a brotherhood or a culture or united group, and they looked fairly united. Christian Pulisic constantly backing him and all that, but you look at this Pochettino guy, and it's just the complete opposite. I've seen this guy flipping more often in flipping coaching soccer aid matches than I'm seeing him do anything with the U.S. men's national team, bro. I swear to you. But what do you make of this whole, Pochettino, quite frankly, a disaster right now?
I'm really not surprised with the way they look right now. I mean, they're clearly in shambles, and they've been like that for a long time. And honestly, the only chance of them ever winning anything now is in the CONCACAF, when it's always Mexico and them in the final. I mean, it always ends up that way being. And simply put, I mean, I don't see them competing like internationally for a long time. Unless, again, they compete in the CONCACAF tournament and then they go ahead and win the final. But besides that, right now the team isn't exactly experienced. Uh, again, you did say they look more like a team, but at the same time, they're not really delivering results. So I do agree with that statement, but to an extent, they're not exactly where they need to be right now. And that's just the sad truth.
Talking about Pochettino, man. This guy literally, this guy is just a flipping. He's an exotic running coach, because that's all this teams do is run. This guy wanted to make Conor Gallagher a cornerstone of that Chelsea midfield, and people tell me after, they shouldn't have sacked Poch. Yes, you could say, he found his groove towards the end, but guess what? You want the Chelsea owner said, nah, screw that. We're still getting rid of you anyways.
Yep.
And they made the right decision. They definitely made the right decision. When you look at where they are now, what they've achieved since then. But just, do you think it could be possible that they could even sack Pochettino before the World Cup? Or do you think he's definitely locked in and in charge? Because one thing I will say, before the 2022 World Cup, I think it was like maybe a month, right? A month before the World Cup started, Morocco sacked their manager, brought in a new manager, and with that same core group of footballers, that same core group of players, they got to a World Cup semi-final, and not just scamming wins, but you could say arguably deserving
Yeah,
and
yeah.
convincingly winning against teams like Spain, teams like Portugal. Last time I checked, I don't think on paper their teams are terrible. So those are some of the best teams in the world. Yes, 3 years ago, definitely a bit different, but than they look now. But those are still some good teams there. It just fell short in a quarterfinal tie against or in the semifinals against France, and I think they lost the third place match against Croatia. But I mean, still, they finished runners up in that third place match. I mean, that's huge, and the manager has to get some credit for that.
Yeah, for sure.
So, looking at that, do you think that it could even be a possibility that the higher ups, whether that's Matt Crocker and all that, even consider?
I highly doubt that they sack him because at the end of the day, it's like, yo, like what other options are there really truly is there to like replace him? Because I mean, there's managers that we have seen that like left the Prem like either a year or 2 years ago that kind of basically confirmed like, yeah, no, international is not really for me. Like I'm just gonna just enjoy retirement, right? And it's not just the Prem too, it's other leagues as well. Um, so I think they stick with him, which is a really risky move here that we're saying right now. But yeah, I definitely do think they stick with him until the World Cup. Uh, maybe after World Cup, the results aren't exactly as promising or convincing, even though, his entire tenure here so far hasn't exactly been the best or hasn't been exactly great. But it really just depends on like how well he does in the World Cup, and that's gonna really determine whether he stays or not. Because if he performs bad, then he's out the door. If he performs somewhat good or to like a degree where nobody really expects the USA team to advance to, then yeah, he will stay. But it just really depends on the World Cup.
Right, fair enough. I'm reaching towards the end of the show. Was there anything that we might have missed before we ended?
No, there's really not hasn't been really much going on in the whole football world. I mean,
It's
besides
dead.
besides international break, I mean, hey, it's only truly active and stuff to talk about when it's club football, and it will be back this weekend. But for now, it's not really much going on. It's like a dead
Mm,
city right now in the whole journalism world of football currently. Not really
yeah, it
much big
is.
news going on about.
Mm. No, yeah, no, I know there isn't. Um, one thing I was gonna say. Uh, uh, oh yeah. To all the Man United fans who are still enjoying it and having their festivities in celebrating Garnation. Happy Garnation to to my fellow Man United supporters as well. Always. Don't worry, I'm still having my festivities as well. I'll probably be having those festivities for probably most of the season. So to accord, I know it was something that happened last week, but Garnation is going to last for a long time. And yeah, to all of my amazing, brilliant Man United supporters, happy Garnation to all of you. Like I said so many times, freedom from footballing terrorism, it's a beautiful thing, and it's a thing to always rejoice and to celebrate. And which before I forget, Leverkusen appointed Kasper Hjulmand.
Yes.
I think he coached Denmark, I think, right?
Yep. That sounds about right. Yep.
Mm. Yeah,
Um,
I've only seen him coach Denmark, so I can't really say
I would
anything.
say I would say he's an improvement over Ten Hag. I mean, even though he hasn't done
Oh,
anything yet.
oh wow, well, that's a surprise. Oh, eh,
Just-
like 99.9% of managers are probably an improvement on
yeah,
that guy, unless
that's
if your
fair.
name is Ruben Amorim.
Yeah.
Strictly with results. But I mean, even then, I mean, what he's done off the pitch for me, yeah, the results have taken us to hell. But you know what? This manager has literally cleaned up the shambolic mess that flipping Boldford left behind. So yeah. And anything else before we end the show?
Oh man, I'm really excited for this Derby
Mm,
Dave, honestly, bro. And we will be
yeah.
doing a watch along for
You
sure.
have a
So
watch
keep
along and a preview
yes, yes. So
later on
keep
this
an
week.
eye out for that for sure. Keep an eye out for that. definitely stay tuned. And yeah, man, I mean, this should be a really good game, regardless of who's stronger,
Mhm.
regardless of who's playing at home and who's playing away. But definitely I'm excited to see both teams go out there and compete. Most importantly, because this is a different United team than we've seen from last year. And again, you can say San City. It's a different City team than we've seen from last year as well. So we'll see who wins. But I'm excited.
Mm. But anyways, there you have it. There has been your Dave Mo show, episode 2. We will release clips from episode 1. And if you're wondering, oh, how come you're starting episode 2? Where's episode 1? Yeah, to all of you lot and to all of you scrubs who are going to complain to me and all that, you can take your complaints and I don't know, forward them over to StreamYard and their rubbish technical difficulties. You can thank them for that. So yeah, just to let you all know, if you're wondering why are we starting episode 2, there's your fucking reason. But anyways, this has been the Dave Mo show, and we will see you later on towards the end of the week. Yeah, we're out of here.